Welcome back to Star Ladder ImbaTV Invitational Season 5. We had our first game of the day, first game of the entire event so far. We're in our first series here of Group A. VGJ.Thunder, veteran team, at least relatively to FlyToMoon, who is a very fresh team, very new team. But FlyToMoon was able to take the first game here of the best of 3. Gods, Tsunami. Game 2, Tsunami, you already said it's going to be a 2-0 regardless who wins it. So FlyToMoon all the way.
I was with the 2-1. I said FlyToMoon would win game 1, and then VGJ would adapt. So
far, 100%. What do you think?
I mean, he's also
100% as well. True.
100%.
What do you think? Are you still sticking with that? We just saw them perform. I think VGJ.Thunder, we agreed, was a little bit lackluster compared to what we were expecting, and FlyToMoon was just solid.
Yeah. I don't think it was like a mega stomp, which is where VGJ are probably still in an okay position. I think there's like a warm-up game, a wake-up game for them, and also maybe gives them some useful info as to how FlyToMoon want to play and what they want to pick, heroes to maybe look out for. So obviously you don't want to be down a game, but I don't think it's like they're not looking like they're going to get 2-0 to me. But at the same time, I don't think it's clear-cut that they're going to be the favorites for the next game.
Yeah, there are a couple of directions now that Thunder can go, because I think the game plan in Game 1 was like, I think my Tiny can outcarry your Gyrocopter.
Yeah.
And that was not the case. Silent was holding down the fort while Sylar was rapidly trying to find kills all across the map. And then Freeze was just falling behind significantly compared to Iceberg. And so now, if you're Thunder, you have multiple ways of going. So like, do you want to shut down No Fear, who is also helping out Silent in that 4-position Train Protector, or do you want to go even harder on Iceberg, or do you put more faith into, or more respect on Silent? Because I don't think Silent was really bothered that much in Game 1.
Not as much. I mean, he was up against a Doom Willow lane, but he got a lot of help.
Yeah.
He wasn't. It was a very even game. The first 10 minutes was very even. And I think VGJ.Thunder was not expecting it to be even. Not with the lanings.
Yeah, when you're on that Doom Willow lane, it feels like the idea is that you are going to pressure the carry a bit more, get some more kills there, and that just didn't seem to happen. So I think that Willow for Fade didn't really, I think, show his best Dota. I mean, he played great and he did a lot of damage, as Willows do, but ultimately I feel like he's better when he's on those bigger playmakers, the Tusks, the Elder Titans, those kind of more active, mobile fours.
Yeah, I see Fade as more of like a, like you said, a playmaking four. And Willow, like we saw sometimes where he would activate Bedlam and then he would be like very tentative about it and be like, I mean, I could probably kill him, but like, what if I go in and I die? Whereas with Tusk, you're just like, YOLO, and go for the snowball. So.
Yeah, and then you can initiate, actually start fights, because they had both a 4 and an offlane who don't initiate. Doom with Willow just felt like very awkward as to how they start fights. They're entirely relying on Sylar, their carry, to start fights, and they have a 3 and a 4 that have some utility, can dish out damage from the 4 position, but it just felt like they needed better ways to start fights and kill targets.
Yeah, because they had like ended up with like 4 Blink Daggers, because Odie, did Tiny have one? Or yeah, so Odie, Tiny, Willow, and Lion.
Yep.
And yet they still struggle to start fights. So definitely a systemic issue there.
So a lot to fix here for the second game. In terms of FlyToMoon, though, they look good. But they are also going to need to adjust something because they know that they're going to not get the same heroes again that they had. Is there any hero in particular that you would ban out after this performance? Would you ban out Trian, for example? Because No Fear did make a lot happen.
Yeah, and like God said, like China doesn't really know how to deal with Trant. And this game exemplified that, I think. Especially because it wasn't a max guides Trant, and that's usually the hardest to deal with. Max living armor, you kind of know what to expect, and still Thunder were looking a little puzzled.
Yep. I think that's like a good second stage ban, because they're probably not picking the first 2. If they think they pick a first 2, you say, well, we're going to have to deal with it. But second stage bans take it out. Particularly if Iceberg has last pick again, then I think targeting his heroes in the bans just doesn't really seem like it's going to accomplish much, because there's such a big hero pool and you have last pick. You're always going to feel like you're going to get a decent pick for Iceberg in a decent game. So target the 4 position, the offlane, target some of the other roles.
Well, we had an Abaddon first pick for FlyToMoon. Is that one that you would target? Because it's not really a
out of the Abaddon and the Rubik, I think you go for the Rubik just because of comfort. I think Abaddon had a bigger impact that game. But at the same time, like, always want to fly like he's not feeling his best. So if you take away his hero, I mean, like,
pressure the weak point.
I'm not encouraging any sort of like, you know, unsavory tactics, but you know, this game is
but
mental.
secretly you do.
You do whatever it takes to win.
Hey, this is true. It's Dota, you know. Take no prisoners. But yeah, and a ban, first phase ban, perhaps not ideal. I mean, again, the Rubik though, it wasn't super flashy.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I would imagine Always Wanna Fly is comfortable on a lot of heroes.
He is, for sure.
They may just stick to similar bans. The Chen Enchantress, the junglers are always problematic heroes that CIS teams love to run. FTM have particularly run a lot of Enchantress, so I think we'll probably see those two bans once again.
It was a Bounty Hunter as well banned, so Chen Enchantress, Bounty Hunters, all no-fear heroes.
Yeah.
Banned.
And what's likely going to happen is they're not going to go with the Dark Willow first pick again, I would guess, and then that means Abaddon is probably also not going to get picked, so I think the Abaddon was very much a response.
That's true. Although FlyToMoon do love their Willow as well, and so it may have been like a slight denial pick from Thunder.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see them change up their playstyle at all, or just FlyToMoon's way of playing? Is this, you know, keeping their lane sturdy until like, what was it, 15-minute mark where they really started to get ahead?
Yeah, I would say that this was actually a more muted version of FlyToMoon's typical style, because like, aside from no fear moving over to the mid lane every once in a while, like sniping that courier, helping out after like a post-astral gank with the Laguna Blade.
Yeah.
Most often than not, like I said, they usually like to leave Iceberg alone to his own devices. But this time they recognized that he needed some help and it ended up working out. But in an ideal FlyToMoon game, they just let Iceberg go to work solo.
Okay, so this was actually not the way that we've seen him play in the qualifiers.
I'm pretty sure he can up the ante a little bit.
Yeah.
Something for VGJ.Thunder to take into account.
Yeah,
as
I mean,
well.
you saw how emotional he was at the end of that game.
Oh, yes.
That's what I like to see.
I mean, I agree. We talked about before the series. You said, well, I hope that RTK is going to respect their opponents and is going to be able to, you know, to give FlyToMoon the proper amount of credit that they deserve. I mean, they did qualify here. They've been looking really good. The honeymoon phase is definitely still on.
For sure.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think VGJ need to maybe tweak some things, get some better building push going on, and yeah, definitely don't let Iceberg get into that comfort zone in the late game. Like, that's the perfect way for FTM to win their first game, because it's like you had your superstar mid player have a flashy finish, you had Silent, your stable carry player, just have a fantastic stable performance from start to finish. Everything kind of went according to the script for them. So VGJ need to somehow throw them off.
How much of an effect had the fact that the towers were still up for so long? Because that map control that FlyToMoon had, typically, if it wasn't a Tree and Protector game, they wouldn't have had that.
Yeah, even one of the ganks that VGJ.Thunder went for, they had to burn like 2 smokes. The first smoke went all the way into the dire jungle. They couldn't find anything. They were kind of like, well, we can't go into the lane because there's still like 2 towers there. So they smoked up again, went back to their side, and it's very difficult. Even though usually you think that teams with like Nyx Assassin or Bounty Hunter, those are the teams that struggle the most whenever you can't take structures. It's still really difficult whenever you have to build 4 Blink Daggers and you still can't find fights because there's so many structures on the map.
Well, and it's a map control, it's a vision thing as well. It almost felt like they needed to have that like Nyx Bounty Hunter hero to scout things out, because they had no good way to actually scout and start fights. Like they didn't have any hero to go roaming around to find info for their team. They had to rely on smokes, and well, that just didn't work out for them. When the few times they smoked, they couldn't find good initiations. Yeah,
especially a pretty choice early gem pickup from Abaddon also shut down the Silver Edge initiations from Tiny, which were already starting to falter because the FlyToMoon squad were already getting tanky enough.
Yeah, the crazy thing was, I think at one point it was like FlyToMoon had taken 3 tier 1 towers, they'd lost none of them, and they were still behind on gold. So they'd taken towers and they were losing on gold, which really showcased how VGJ were doing fine in the early mid game. They had a lot of farm in the cores that needed it. OD was maybe a little behind, but Tiny was having a great game. They just never found a way to take advantage of the map and take map control because they couldn't push.
It looks like the players are about ready to head into that second game. By the way, for people at home, we are aware of the Dota TV sound issue. Not Dota TV sound, but Dota sound issue on stream. It's being worked on, just so you are up to date with that. And yeah, I think we're about ready to hop into the draft, and obviously we are aware of the bans not showing properly either. So maybe
it's okay.
That's fixed.
I love a good hocus pocus picture guessing game.
It gives us a talking point.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a Chen ban? Is that a Doom ban?
We were very close, though.
We were.
Guess that hero. RTK is sitting down, so.
Who does he replace? Who does he sit? Whose chair does he sit in?
The middle one.
Freeze?
Probably Freeze.
Okay.
Who sits next to Sylar? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's probably Freeze.
Like who's standing up?
Because I know in
him,
Mineski, Ninja Boogie stands up.
Yeah.
And 71 takes his spot.
But does he actually do the drafting, 71?
I don't know how much influence he has.
But
I mean,
I don't think he's the one on the mouse to draft. That's what I mean.
Oh, really?
And then R2K is like...
That's true.
This
R2K
is mine now.
judge, jury, executioner on the entire thing.
Yeah, it was the same with Mikasa as well with VG.
Oh, okay.
It was a similar thing where he like fully takes over and he's driving the wheel.
That's a...
Yeah, the MVP of previous game.
Yeah, more than
Silent.
one assist. Bit of a, I guess, cutoff there, but...
I didn't even get to see like how many times they stacked for him, but I would guess not very much because I saw a Radiant ward on the Northern Ancients, and so even if they were stacking, they should have been aware of it. But regardless, he still managed to find an exceptional amount of farm.
Yeah, it felt like it was neck and neck, even slightly ahead of the Tiny at times, despite Tiny rotating, finding kills on Lina. The 2 kills they had in their own Lina was like a 4-hero gank and then a 3-hero gank, which I think where like you're killing this Lina, but Tiny and OD weren't really getting much gold out of it because of how many heroes had to go for it.
Oh, we see him.
Hey, we fixed it.
There we go.
Sweet.
So, Treant is banned in the first stage. VGJ.Thunder say, we just don't know how to deal with this hero. I think it's a comfort thing. You know, it's the one hero you probably just never verse in your region. You don't know really quite what it does in a competitive game so much, so you're just going to ban it out.
Yeah. And again, FlyToMoon, they know Thunder's pool with Tusk and Omni.
Yep. Yeah. Also means, by the way, that indeed Chen and Enchantress are still in the pool, so I'm wondering if we're going to see something like that from Nova.
Which, I mean, it's still surprising. Like, a lot of teams were picking Enchantress towards the, like, I guess, like, the middle time of DAC, and I thought Enchantress got, like, kneecapped in the previous patch with Untouchable being nerfed and the enchant duration not being able to, like, at level 1, you can't re-enchant. But a lot of teams are still, I don't know how successful she was, but she was still getting picked a lot. Instead, like, Leshrac ended up getting like a huge re-emergence, which is weird to me because Leshrac's buffs seem like marginal. But I think a lot of teams were like, oh, nice, Leshrac got buffed. We can use all those Leshrac stats we had from like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Willow banned.
Yeah, so we do see bans on heroes that obviously were prominent in game 1. And now VGJ are probably like, do we ban the Chen or the Enchantress, or just leave both since you can't ban them both?
Right.
Yeah, you're going to have to deal with one of the two.
I think the Enchantress is the much bigger threat. Just the more active hero, the one that scales better into the late game.
And a better laning hero.
Yeah,
and
better laning
flexible,
hero.
flexible pick as well. No, they banned
the
Chen.
They banned the Chen. So, I mean, it is the one that No Fear is more well known for. He was a massive Chen player back in the day.
So they pick up the Tiny, take it away from Thunder, and FlyToMoon have a like fairly experienced amount on Tiny. They usually give it, I think, like to Iceberg, I want to say, but it's again like a hero you can put on anyone.
Yeah, this time around they don't have that final pick of the draft, so I guess in that sense you're not looking to kind of save that final pick for Iceberg necessarily.
Right.
This can switch over to the safe lane, the off lane if you really wanted to, but you're not kind of building your draft around having the overall last pick.
So will they go for the Rubik again?
For
FlyToMoon?
Yeah, that seems like a stable second pick.
Yeah.
Unless there's something they really want, like in response to VGJ's opener.
Yeah,
they're taking their time so much with this opener. Normally, teams don't spend so much bonus time.
For sure.
They must be expecting like an Enchantress first pick or something different out of FlyToMoon.
Or maybe they wanted the Tiny.
Yeah, that's
probably.
Exactly. They didn't think the Tiny was going to be taken from them.
Because this is very uncharacteristic. They go for the DP first. I mean, it's a successful hero for them. We talked about it before, that it was one of their favorite heroes to have. It fits their playstyle.
But you've shown the mid lane matchup. Pick one against Iceberg.
We've seen some people run at safe lane as well. That was the adjustment team started making, where it's like, we really want this Death Prophet, but we don't want to lock ourselves into a mid matchup.
Right.
It also solves their problem with tower taking. So that they will allow themselves to get a little bit more map control that way. And with the Kunkka pickup, we have seen it not just from Secret, from more teams against the potential threat of a gyrocopter as well.
It's usually given to Fade. So I'm guessing it's a 4-position Kunkka, but Freeze has played it on occasion mid lane.
I love this second pick AA. You know, they're going for this more tower push team fight lineup. Like, if they had that Death Prophet last game of OD, we would have seen a lot more towers fall. Now you look at a way to burst down the hero that VGJ are using to adjust their draft. So AA is picked up, you can't rely on Spirit Siphon. You've got great initiation from a Tiny to set up the AA spells.
What is what's the synergy between? Well, not synergy, but how does Ice Blast versus Rum?
So, I mean, it doesn't really affect the reduction. It's just that a lot of times, especially if it's at the end, wherever the rum hangover is kicking in, you may shatter.
Okay.
But it's just as effective. Like, rum is still just as effective. Like, it doesn't reduce the amount of HP,
But if
whatever.
you're dropping low, you're still going to shatter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oracle Ban. Yeah, I mean, one of the heroes that could buy time for Death Prophet to actually get off the Spirit Siphons.
Usually we see Dazzle, though. Dazzle DP.
But I guess the Oracle is better against the AA.
Yeah,
because
I
you
guess
stop
for
Death
purging
Prophet.
purposes.
Yeah, and you also stop Death Prophet from going down in health.
Right.
So while the Ice Blast is on, you're not gonna shatter theoretically, and you can then Spirit Siphon after the Ice Blast wears off.
Usually I only see Oracle bans whenever you don't want something cheaply purged off, like Ion Shell and Darkseer, which no one picks Darkseer these days, but that's usually the biggest reason why you ban Oracles.
On the other side, Lifestealer Terrorblade banned out.
So targeting Silent.
Yeah, I wonder if they have some kind of carry in mind with the Terrorblade, if they're going to go for that Sylar Luna we've seen quite a bit of, which is kind of the hero that Terrorblade naturally counters. FlyToMoon target Sand King, so they're not worried about right now. That would have been a...
So FlyToMoon do, on occasion, run one-position Wraith King. And against a Death Prophet and Kunkka, I do like the idea of that. But it's a greedier carry than what Silent was given last time with the Gyrocopter, and so it's the decision on who do you want to lean more, Iceberg or Silent.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Wraith King. I think it's a definitely viable hero and good against Disruptor too. Now it's like you get Glimpse back, Static Storm, you've got that second life. So
yeah.
It kind of works very well against those big team fight lineups that can just blow someone up with their initial big use of their spells. You initiate with a Kunkka X boat, well, guess what? That Wraith King has second life, same with Disruptor.
It seems so kiteable. You're so speedy on the Death Prophet as well.
That's true.
I think with the Tiny there, it's not ideal. It doesn't partner well with the Tiny. You've got two melee cores that can get kited, as you said, so I'd be surprised by it being picked up because they have Tiny.
I guess the other core that they play occasionally for Silent is Lone Druid, but I don't really like Lone Druid against Death Prophet very much.
Well, let's see what they go for. They have the Nyx Assassin, Flex Pick, as people call it. Although I think FlyToMoon plays it normally for non grata. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I think it's so. Persona non grata is like the expression, but I don't know how you pronounce his specific name. But
I non grata. Yeah, I would say non grata. I mean, am I saying it right for Nyx Assassin to be free?
Oh, yeah.
But they have some options with the heroes they chose.
4-position Nyx, doesn't seem the greatest these days.
No, it's not. I mean, only if you really want to bother like an OD mid with just constant mana burns. And technically, DP is kind of susceptible to that. I suppose if you send Tiny Nyx mid, that could be very irritating for a Death Prophet.
It is kind of like that dual offlane hero though, so I guess in that sense it could be a 3 or 4, whether you're giving it farm, but more often we do see it getting some farm.
Is Nyx Assassin, like one of his weakest points, I think, is being fairly predictable? I mean, he obviously is still very strong later on. Spike Carapace is great. But you still know when he's missing on the map. It's like, okay.
Vendetta can be read very easily. And like a lot of heroes like fulfilling that Nyx Assassin role of being like, I'm not on the map, you don't know what I'm doing, like Sand King. We often see in that role, but Sand King's banned out this time by FlyToMoon. But yeah, Nyx Assassin, like, it's guaranteed because he has to use Vendetta, whereas Sand King, like, maybe he's farming the jungle with Sandstorm. Nyx Assassin doesn't have that kind of luxury, so yeah.
And teams learn very well how to efficiently deal with a Nyx. In the past, it used to be like, there was a lot of like mass buying sentries. Now it's like, let's just buy a couple and play right around those sentries and bait them into us and then get that easy kill, which is something which you can easily do with Disruptor.
Man, if they top this off with a Zeus, this would be amazing global gank squad, because you got Howl global, you've got AAA Ice Blast, you got Nyx Assassin scouting, but I don't think they'll do it.
What are we thinking about the Night Stalker, by the way?
Yeah, that means Night Stalker core.
Yeah.
Or Kunkka core, but I think more likely Night Stalker is the offlaner. Yang has played it before. It gives them this just finding, running you carry. It's kind of rough against the Lycan teamfight lineup. So Night Stalker's not a hero that wants to play against heavy teamfight, but I think because you've got such a strong... Yeah, you've got a strong teamfight on your side. Your 3 other heroes you picked are like massive teamfighters. So I think in that sense you don't mind that you've got a Night Stalker there, because those heroes will make up for that teamfight weakness of his. Howl's
going to be so valuable this game for FlyToMoon, though.
Yeah, they can take down towers of their own very fast as well.
Yeah, both teams have really strong pushing capabilities. They win a fight. You've got Lycan on one side, Death Prophet on the other. And both teams are looking for a core hero.
Yeah, PL banned on the side of FlyToMoon.
So it's either going to be a non-Grotto hero or an Iceberg hero, depending on what this Tiny is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm still okay with like a dual mid Tiny with Nyx. And then if you do that, then you go for some... Like, Underlord is like not even on the map for either of these teams, which is very weird to me, because it's the go-to at DAC.
That's crazy,
and like, if there's one hero that's on the list for everyone to be nerfed like later tonight, it's Underlord.
Yeah. Stop him from killing all those poor Roches.
Yeah.
They don't really know the matchup in the off lane, because the last pick is going to be most likely Sylar's hero, which is where it's kind of risky to maybe send Tiny there if he gets a bad matchup.
Right.
Might just want to pick a more traditional hero like the Underlord, as you said.
Yeah, they pick Clockwork every once in a while for non-Grotto, which is also like fairly reliable. You can't really go wrong with the clock.
Definitely very different draft we're seeing from both teams. I mean, much bigger emphasis on pushing. I mean, you've got the big Death Prophet Lycan coming into play. Last game it was a team with no push versus a lineup that, I mean, the Gyro draft didn't also, Gyro Lina also doesn't push that all that much. So it seems like both teams expecting more kind of death ball push-oriented style of play.
More emphasis on that vision and map control. Ooh. Speaking of vision and map control.
Vision, map
so
control,
that's
push.
Usually non-Grotto. Yeah. Which
that's
so it's
not
mid.
Good. That's an Assassin 4.
Right. So mid Tiny with, I'm assuming, dual mid mana burning constantly on Death Prophet, unless Thunder want to send someone else mid.
Yeah, and we have seen Nature's Prophet as a support as well.
We have, but I don't think CI. Like I think Vega Squadron occasionally try it, and I'm sure VP also probably does. But I'm assuming it's going to be a non-Grotto one.
So they get the lane matchup against the Nature's Prophet, but is this really a Sven game? Good against Lycan
Freeze on the Sven.
Huh.
No, Sven is considered to be a counter to the Nature's Prophet because of the cleave, rid of trees. But at the same time, it kind of works both ways because you can sprout, and if you don't have any item slots for a
so we're gonna see a Battlefield, right?
And in terms of tempo, Nature's Prophet's pretty good against Sven because Sven needs a lot of farm. He's kind of greedy. He sits back. He gets his items. Whereas Nature's Prophet's like, I'm going to build a drums. I'm going to run at you. I'm going to push your towers. I'm going to TP to where my Death Prophet is to push as well. So I think Sven is not really the perfect pick, even though it lanes well.
Well, according to you, it's going to be VGJ.Thunder's game.
Yeah, these are already predetermined predictions.
Are we having are you sticking with it? Because you have the chance to flip-flop if you want.
We do, but I'm a man of my word. 2-0 FlyToMoon.
I'm also mad at my words. 1-1. We have a game 3, Shiver. I respect that.
Actually, no. You're the tiebreaker. Thunder.
No, apparently I'm going VGJ.Thunder.
Okay.
So
wait, you're not going. These are the previous predictions.
Well, it's set in
Who are you,
stone.
Shiver?
Apparently with VGJ.Thunder. I would like to see a third game as well, and I think that they can do better than what they showed in that first game. We're gonna find out though. This time for 40 Pixel Winter and game number 2.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shiva. As we're getting ready here for game 2, we've seen some changes ups, and we are seeing a Sven. I can't remember the last time I saw a Sven. This is not a carry hero that people normally touch at the moment.
Yep. Too farm heavy, you know, very, very bad in the meta right now because of how fast the game is being played. And I'm really surprised how Prophet has been ignored. He was like, what, the 9th pick?
The last pick, wasn't it? Yeah, well, yeah. No, yeah, sorry, a 9th overall.
Yeah. It's a hero that's been, you know, the big talking point during DAC. That's like how strong he is at securing lanes. But at least we get to see it here in game number 2, and we'll see how does non-Grotto play this hero. It's a very big difference from the first hero that he played, Abaddon. Abaddon is like more like the support kind of offlaner, but Prophet is more like the momentum leader in the game because he is a hero that doesn't need you know, any cooldowns to fight with. Everything that he has is pretty short cooldown. You fight very well early, and he dictates the tempo a lot. They have this kind of like global presence lineup the panel mentioned earlier. AA plus Prophet with the Nyx running around with Vendetta scouting around the map. So you find someone, there's an Ice Blast, there's a Prophet ultimate coming. Easy to get kills.
Well, let's see how it plays out for him, and as we say, yeah, for the Sven as well, being run here by VGJ.Thunder. A hero that a lot of teams just don't seem to be able to find a place to play at the moment in Dota 2, but Thunder have seen an opportunity here this game and they've taken it. See if it pays off and if they can indeed push this series to a game 3 off the back of Freeze's Sven.
Yep, so once again 2-1-2 lanes. This time no level 1 smoke shenanigans, so no first blood before the creeps are out. It's going to be a Disruptor Sven against bot lane. That's a Chilling Toucher doing a lot of damage, but it's Night Stalker, you know, pretty tanky hero, 6 armor at level 1. So he's going to be A-OK here. Just gets the pull off. And Fate just trading with the anime heroes. He wants to just make sure that they get a lot of damage when they're trying to do this, like pull back the creep wave in between the tier 1 and tier 2 to regain control of the lane. So you want to punish them as much as you can. And he's going to TP top right now. He secures the bottom pool, so he wants to make sure that the top lane goes well. A stun onto Nograta. Prophet is in trouble here. This is an easy kill here. Huh, that ward actually, I think, maybe already scouted the TP?
I think it should have.
I thought they saw the TP, but he just stood in the lane, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he felt like he could. He felt like he was safe or what. I'm not sure, but I'm fairly certain they saw him TP. So that was a kind of bit of blunder there by Nograta and the Prophet. Right, so right now he TPs back to the lane, so No Fear's going to be around here, making sure that that does not happen anymore.
Yeah, he's at least got some sort of a backup, and well, mid lane, we'll see who does end up coming out top. Obviously at the moment Iceberg doing the better in terms of trading CS with that tree. As he does lead the lane 9 for 3 against the 5 for 0.
Yep, DP will start to regain control of the lane once you get more points in the Spirit Siphon. That's how you dominate the lane, but first few waves I would say mostly Tinies will do fairly well because of the tree grab. So top lane, Prophet is starting to settle down here, it's getting some last hits. Bot lane, the Night Stalker is also fairly happy with the outcome of the laning phase because he got the pull off, he's getting levels, he's able to contest the lane against the Lycan's also not the strongest like laner. He's really good.
Mid.
Oh, the courier.
They've got this haste rune. Always want to fly. He's looking for it. The Jukes are there with the courier. Is it going to be enough to save it? Surely isn't, and it isn't. FlyToMoon able to take away that courier once again. We saw them do it last game. This time it's always want to fly instead of No Fear, but another haste rune, another courier.
And here comes the backup. X-Mark. Seems like he is in no means of escaping here, so but still getting the courier, a huge pickoff for FlyToMoon. And top lane, as we see the Sven here, he's still getting a pretty good amount of CS despite the dual lane pressure. 13 CS to the Lycan, 16. So I would say he's still pretty happy with the state of the lane right now for them. And Fate's going to X-Monk the DP, so he TPs back to base and just abusing the X-Monk here.
He's got the 2 nulls and the 1, so fair bit of stats to get those right clicks and make sure you can keep up with the CS of the Tiny.
Good small little play here to make sure that they get whatever they can from the laning phase. So, first night phase in 30 seconds. Should be the time where the Night Stalker starts to maybe get active, or you send the support to the Night Stalker's lane so you gank the Lycan. But he's going to have the double, like, oh no, he actually doesn't have points in Hull. He has 2 in the Pharaoh Impulse instead.
Okay.
Generally you'll see like 1 point against NS in particular.
Yeah, you're right. Normally to ride off indeed the bonus of the nighttime being there, but bottom, sorry, top lane. Quick X mark onto No Fear. We'll try for the TP out, and he'll make it.
Good TP there. Well done there by No Fear. So the first night phase kicks in. Night Stalker does not have his phase boots yet, but he's level 4. So he is really strong right now with 2 points in the Hunter of the Night. And on top of things, he's going to find a double damage. Let's see if he can get stuff done here for his team.
He's going to sit around bottom, as it looks like.
He just wants to pressure the carry. Like this This is the thing about when you're playing Core Night Stalker, you don't really want to roam as much because you want to sit in the lane and pressure the carry. Because if you leave, then the carry gets like free farm. You don't really like that. A toss, aggressive toss into the DP here.
Yeah, they're trying for it here, going underneath the tower for Sylar, but they haven't got quite enough damage. And in fact, down bottom, Yang was able to get the kill onto Silent. Mid lane, Iceberg chased down here as VGJ.Thunder make the rotation. Sylar and Fade looking to get the last bit of damage onto him, and they can with the Crypt Swarm. 2 core kills there for Thunder.
That double damage really securing the kill there for Yang, and it's going to give him enough gold for face boot, so he's really, really happy with the outcome there. And the reaction there. Good reactions by VG, TPing to mid to save the carry. Top lane, Freeze, the Sven, the questionable pick.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble here as well. As they're chasing, okay, they don't want to keep chasing, they're worried.
Yep, the panel mentioned maybe it's a possible game that the Sven actually goes battle free because of the Prophet. We've seen games where the Prophet totally owns the Sven if you don't have a Quelling Blade. So we might see that happen, but I'm not sure about that this game. The TP down bot lane, Nyx, but not going to be able to get in range for the stun.
Yeah, it looks like they were worried that Silent was going to get gone upon as he gets X Mark.
Oh, soaring. He gets a soaring on the NS.
Okay.
Interesting.
What do you think about that?
Strength hero, regen. He kind of needs some mana, so can't really go wrong with that. But you kind of want to have like the phase boost so you get really aggressive. Like that would have been a kill maybe if you had phase boost there on the AA. So that's small little things there. That's why you want to rush. Generally you want to rush like phase boost and on NS. But Fate gonna pay the price with the first shape shift of the game.
Top lane as well, non-Grata. Let's get gone upon, but he stands his ground and punches back at DDC and Freeze. Keeping himself safe underneath the tower.
So bot lane, Silent does not have his ultimate up, so we might see an he misses the torrent. So probably gonna stop the aggression here. But Silent's still sitting in the lane here. He is pretty far forward. He might be in trouble here. Fate runs in. He's trying to get the X Mark.
I can't quite find him to open up, and now Fade and Yang will back away as FlyToMoon do have both No Fear and Always Wanna Fly coming in to be there for Silent.
Yep. There's 1 more minute remaining in the night time though. I think maybe they can still try to use this with the DP ulti. DP has ultimate up, so we'll see if they can actually maybe TP the DP to the bot lane and use this the remaining duration of the night time to pressure and to force the tower. non-Grata, he is not in a good spot here. Gets kinetic field up, there is still a glimpse, so there's no way he gets up.
That's another kill for VGJ.Thunder as they now lead 5-1. 2k lead as well in net worth. They are having a stronger impact for sure this time around in the lanes.
This Prophet is not having a good time. He's not doing, like, this is the first time I see Prophet struggling in the lane. Like, generally the hero just wins all the lanes. Like, you win your lane, and then you TP to another lane, you win another lane, so great.
He's in trouble again, Winter. Look at this, they're diving in, looking for non-Grata. They find the torrent. TP will be coming in from No Fear's Nyx Assassin, but already non-Grata is out of the game. They've got the X mark onto No Fear. Spike Carapace buys him some time, but with the ghosts out, VGJ.Thunder will take a second kill from this top lane. 7 for 1. They are starting to steamroll ahead. Iceberg is able to find Fade, but didn't quite have enough charges on that tree to get the extra toss off, so couldn't get that final bit of damage down onto the Kunko as VGJ.Thunder get themselves away without losing a single life despite that double damage tiny rotation.
Yep, they got away scot-free. They didn't get the tower, but still like a good amount of damage done. And they got a kill on the Prophet previously, and they forced out rotations. So I think all in all, that's still a pretty good outcome for VGJ.Thunder. It's daytime now, so they want to kind of play more passive. But Night Stalker does have his ultimate skill up. So if they want to take a fight, he still has that on for them. But they're probably going to wait for the DP to have her next ultimate up. And the two supports are smoking towards the NS lane. I like this a lot because DDC has popped level 6. And here comes the supports and the darkness being popped. Can they get there in time? Oh, they're actually going to just go mid. They want a tower.
Yang tries for the CP in the trees, but in time to hold him down.
Yep, it might glimpse the Tiny back.
So we can find mid. So Good Nature's Wrath coming through, in fact, doing a lot of damage, but Iceberg getting siphoned down. No fit, CP's in, goes for the stun off the DP, looking to hold him back, but they'll still lose Iceberg's Tiny. Can FlyToMoon find anything else in return?
Much rotation committed here to react to the aggression from VGJ.Thunder. That was a very good decisive change of direction there. They were like moving towards bot lane and they realized that, oh, maybe we're not going to get there on time to save the NS, so might as well just move to mid to get something done. They were not able to pressure the tower, but they were able to force a lot of reaction towards the mid lane, so it opened up a lot of space for Freeze on the Sven at top lane. He pushes the lane towards the tower, secures the bounty rune, so getting as much as he can. And he's going to pop his ultimate to clear the lanes and farm the jungle, so playing this as greedy as possible on the Sven. So that's the first rotation from Disruptor. He didn't really use his ultimate, so they still have that up for disposal right now. They find a haste on Sylar, his ultimate's back up. NS does not have nighttime though. But they're going to run into the enemy jungle here, possibly going to place a deep observer ward.
Let's see what they can find, either an X mark or a glimpse, but the Hellbear will be out from FlyToMoon to scout out this movement.
No observer ward here on DDC, but he does already have observer ward from before. He had the one on the right side of the jungle, they have one on the top lane.
On mid lane. They see always want to fly. Straight in with the X mark. They've caught out the A, and they do have the Ghost up, so they want to try and get some damage done to this tier 1 tower here, Sylar. So at the same time, Yang actually able to pressure in the tier 1 bottom as well as FlyToMoon. Can they put any sort of stop to this? No fear does have the level 6 in the Vendetta, but a sentry is down mid for VGJ.Thunder. They'll keep themselves back.
They made the mistake on the last game, not having sentries against the Treant. Not going to make the same mistakes once again this game. And it is going to be the second night phase of the game soon. So they get a tower. Silent wasn't able to get there on time to deny the tower. So there is going to be a lot of pressure here on the second night phase because VGJ.Thunder, they have gotten a sizable lead here, 4K lead at 10 minutes, 11 minutes.
And Vanguard finished for Yang as well, so starting to really beef up.
Crimson's going to be really good against the Lycan and even the Tiny. So it's going to be a really good pickup here. And we see a smoke here on Always Wanna Fly and Iceberg on the Tiny, but he does not have Blink, and they're going to get X Mark initiated by the Conquer.
Straight away with the boat coming in, Always Wanna Fly. Again, being caught out here as he heads up, leading into the fight as a lone AA.
And here comes Yang on the Night Stalker. He's going to, I think he saw the Tiny heading back towards mid.
No fair. He's trying to make an attempt here, but indeed the Static Storm and counterplay comes out from VGJ.Thunder. They just burst down Iceberg. With the glimpse onto No Fear, they're going to be able to get a second one.
That was perfect for VGJ.Thunder there, getting both of the kills. DDC was really patient with his spells, didn't use his kinetic field for... He just felt like he needed the silence there to save his teammate, and he had that feel for the glimpse. So very well played there by VGJ.Thunder.
I mean, they're getting pretty far ahead. I mean, so the...
Yep, they're destroying their opponents here. This Prophet is not working out for FlyToMoon. They are not creating any sort of pressure with the Prophet. Generally, when you pick Prophet, you are supposed to have that kind of early game presence. 7K goal lead at 30 minutes. That is a huge deficit here for FlyToMoon. And here comes again the Night Stalker. He finds the Prophet and forces another rotation. Things is not looking good for FlyToMoon right now. They have to try to use this Nyx, and does Tiny have his Blink? He's going for Shadow Blade, which I don't really agree. It's a great item on Tiny.
Yeah.
But you have a Nyx on your team, so...
Sure, yeah, there's already
going to be a lot of detection on... I mean, it's still like, you can argue that it's a good item on Tiny because it helps you scale much better than a Blink.
Always want to fly.
With the game going this fast and they are not able to keep up with the pace of the game, I think the team needs his Blink more, but here we go. They find a pickup on Disruptor here on the Vendetta. But X Mark on the Lycan, is he going to be able to outrun this? But
he turns!
The damage.
Looks towards Silent, but Silent's got the Siphon and the boat buff. And with the boat connecting onto Silent, can he get himself out? There's going to be the Sprout from Non-Grata getting some space, but Yang flies across the tree line, gets the kill with the Void. They have lost the Death Prophet. Sylar goes down in response. Fade trying to run himself away. Yang and Freeze coming in from the side are able to clean up. Always want to fly. Turn around with the two-man stun there. No fear to hold back these two. So this time to the Moon able to get some kills in return.
You have to be careful now, right now, because the AA has popped level 6, so your DP is not going to be able to Spirit Siphon and stay in the fights. Right now with Ice Blast on the field, they're going to get a Carapace stun, reflecting the damage from the Storm Hammer from Sven. The chase begins. Can they actually get him? No, too speedy with the Muscle Madness and Warcry. Yeah, but like I said, the AA being level 6 right now, the DP is not going to feel that tanky anymore. Like, he was also pretty squishy in that fight. He almost just died immediately to the burst.
Let's see what they can get done now with
Crimson completed.
Yeah, this is, as you say, going to be quite the big one against the, at least for the 3 cores really of FlyToMoon. Or relying on getting those physical right clicks in.
Well, he changed his mind. Okay, I like this. He buys the blink and then he goes for the smoke.
Yeah, with this, as you say, just the chance of actually getting the jump and taking one of the heroes of VGJ.Thunder out at the start of the fight.
Yep. So let's see who are they gonna find. The ideal target will definitely be like the DP, because she's like the strongest hero in the team fights right now. Well, she's far away from her team though. They might be able to get a jump.
Eyes on him, yeah. There you say, there's the dream pick, and they've got it.
Mid lane, Silent. He is gonna be X-marked.
And with the Godstring, they should have the damage, and they do. And in fact,
that TP?
He came in on this one on Grada, and he quickly got sent back out. Now they're giving away more here, FlyToMoon. As No Fear comes forward, he'll get X marked. They've lost it, though. They've also got the vision for a 4th. There's a quick blink, though, in play to get Iceberg out of there, but still, FlyToMoon have to be careful as after those sort of picks as they get the Death Prophet, they just quickly fed one after another.
So all the tier 1 towers are down. Next objective would be the Roshan here for VGJ.Thunder. They have still the DP ultimate. They're waiting on anything. Sven has blink in a bit. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. There'll be also a strong timing window for the Sven to fight. Maybe they would consider fighting first before going for the Roshan. That would also be a good idea for them. Whereas for FlyToMoon, it's daytime, so you generally want to take advantage of this against Night Stalker.
Well, let's see if they're going to be able to do that, as they do have everyone back up. Now FlyToMoon, bottom lane, getting pushed in by Freeze.
They have to push out the lanes first, then decide what they can do. Nick should be the one leading the charge, maybe with the Tiny and the A. That would be the ideal scenario. And Lycan can get to the fights really quickly with the Shapeshift. And Prophet obviously can TP instantly. So this should be the 3-man rotation team. The Nyx, the A, and the Tiny. And the rest, okay, they're going to bring the Lycan. Are they going to sneak Roshan? Probably not, right? Yeah, they're going to try to get a pick off first before they want to try for the Rosh. They pop a scan on the Radiant team. They're going to know that there's at least one hero on the right side of the map. Prophet's going to scout with the Treants. Doesn't seem like they're going to find anything here.
Let's see what they can find here, Silent. Not looking to head up towards top at the moment, where the rest of his team may need him if the fight kicks off. FlyToMoon. Caught out one.
Buyback. Yes, he has.
They want to try and turn indeed with the God Strength. Already Iceberg is keeping himself the way out of that. They've got the control for Silent. The glimpse, the crit swarm, not quite enough though. Silent still alive. Running himself away. Can they catch him? Fade is going to be looking. Can they get the vision for the X mark? Yes, they can. They've got him. They'll grab back in Silent. They'll take down the Lycan. And Iceberg, is he out in time? He is. Just before Yang gets vision for a potential void. But now VGJ.Thunder, they are in position to go in towards the pit. This did cost them a buyback on Fade, but they're able to get Silent, push FlyToMoon away, and secure that Roshan away from the lineup with the Lycan.
Yep, this is much more like it from VGJ.Thunder. After that disappointing game 1, they are definitely, getting into much better shape here. with a much better performance so far in game number 2, securing the first Roshan of the game in 19 minutes. So they have to use the DPLT for that. So we'll probably see a minute or so of much more defensive play, but it's nighttime in 30 seconds. So Night Stalker is going to be more than ready to fight. He's going to have a Heaven's Halberd queue up. That's a really good item against the Lycan. It's going to limit a lot of his damage potential on top of the Crimson Guard. So definitely VGJ.Thunder being in full control of this game right now. For FlyToMoon, they have to rely on this like Prophet A with Nyx combination to pick people off. Like head-on engagements right now are pretty difficult for them against the Kunkka Bolt and the DPLT.
Well, we'll go for the smoke play here. VGJ.Thunder looking to push the lead that they have, and Freeze jumps in straight away, finding Silent by the Ancients. He heads immediately up there.
You know, that's the typical spots for carries to die. Around the Ancients, like farming Ancients. At DAC we saw RTC dying a lot when he was like doing Ancients and just like carry kind of thing.
He's actually looking to get a second goal. Actually jukes off the Avalanche and Iceberg.
Oh,
He's just dead here.
Big pick off here.
Freeze actually able to find 2 cores essentially with that 1 God Strength in different areas across the map. And bottom lane always want to fly. He's AFK.
Come on, he's not AFK. He was just not looking at his screen. Give the man a break.
He was not looking at this. That's worse.
He was talking to his. He was talking to his teammate.
Okay.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay.
24-8. VGJ.Thunder keeping their advantage.
Oh,
maybe. Can they find something bigger? Static Storm is down for DDC. Onto Silent and Nova. He's going to hold them 2 of them back. Silas still alive for now. Quick TP out from the Disruptor. We'll get him back to safety. Yang and Silas still on the retreat. Can FlyToMoon get one of these 2? Oh, there's the backup. Straight in. Freeze with the God Strength. Cuts down the big bad wolf. And now Thunder are ready to chase down for more. Yang looking towards the AA. Him always want to fly. Non-Grata surrounded by VGJ.Thunder as the onslaught doesn't stop. 27-8. FlyToMoon just unable to find any sort of fight that they can kick off themselves.
I think I think they just ran out of time with their lineup. They're Lycan Prophet kind of heroes that you want to be in this position at 20 to 25 minutes with some sort of lead, you know, against the Sven DP. You're not going to be able to outscale the Sven, and the Prophet is not rich. This is looking like it's pretty much very close to being over unless FlyToMoon are able to make a play in the near future. They have to do something to turn the game around. If the towers just keep going down like this, tower after tower, Roshan after Roshan, they're just going to lose eventually. Right, and at this rate, it doesn't feel like they can do anything because of the discrepancy in items.
It's very hard indeed for FlyToMoon to make any sort of players team fight. Iceberg.
No TP, it's on cooldown for another 3 seconds.
Yang.
I mean, this Night Stalker is just like bullying the carry Tiny.
Oh no.
Oh,
oh no. Poor old Iceberg.
I mean, I wasn't the best spot to TP, but I guess he was gonna die anyway because of Hunter in the night.
And look at this mid lane Freeze. He's in the base.
Okay, this game is over. We are going to see a game 3 over.
Certainly looks like it. 23 minutes in, 29-8. Freeze diving tier 4 towers, dismantling FlyToMoon. As the mid lane racks are now exposed, GG indeed is called. And we're going to a game 3 as this VGJ.Thunder. I mean, for some coming into this matchup, this is maybe more of what people expected to see from this lineup. Yeah. And they certainly showed it in game 2. I guess so the question really was where was this lineup in game 1? Why was this such a different performance?
And I felt like even when I look at the FlyToMoon's lineup, I felt their lineup was okay. Maybe I didn't really like the Prophet that much because they picked the Prophet into like the Night Stalker, but
yeah.
But at the end of the day, I felt like again, like similar to game 1, it's more about the play itself rather than the draft being, oh, we have this draft that we did everything we could, but we still lost, you know. But it's more like there were a lot of small little things, like at the start of the game, the Prophet dying there when they saw, remember there was an observer ward behind the tower. He saw the Kunkka TP'd up, but he was still in the lane farming and he died. That was like a small little thing, but like I mentioned, you pick Prophet, you're supposed to have this dominating early game. You're supposed to win your lane, and then after winning your lane, or at least you put enough pressure in your lane, then you TP to another lane, you crack another lane. But that did not happen at all with this Prophet pick. It was more like the Night Stalker and Kunkka dictating the pace of the lane. They were running around, they were pressuring the killing, and the Night Stalker solo killing the Lycan.
Yeah, Yang had a great game.
Yeah.
At the end of it all. Did against both Lycan and the Tiny, numerous situations. But so this game, very much a one-sided affair. Game 3, just quickly thinking in advance, what do you expect to see being changed by FlyToMoon? Is there any sort of hero you see Thunder getting their hands on here that you're like, we don't want to let them get that again?
Not really, though. I just hope that both teams bring better games, like better performances, because I feel like...
too many mistakes this morning.
Yeah, the mistakes were more critical than the picks that they were choosing to go for.
Well, we'll see if both teams indeed can tighten it up, but as it stands, this series 1-1 now between VGJ.Thunder and FlyToMoon.
Yeah, thank you, Owen and Winter. And indeed, that was a one-sided affair here in the second game of the series. Here with Gods and Tsunami. It's not a 2-0 Tsunami.
I've gotten, like, you couldn't have worse predictions than me. I said it was going to be a 2-0 one way. I said it was going to be Thunder the game 1. I said it was going to be FlyToMoon game 2. So really starting off my my DPC career with solid predictions.
You had a good run. We won't be seeing you at future DPC events.
I really tried.
But that was, I mean, we were thinking VGJ had a decent draft, but that was a lot more one-sided than what we were expecting.
Yeah, I think a lot of FlyToMoon were trying to be like, they were trying to play Vichi's game for some reason. Like, Tiny was Vichi's hero in the first game, and they run DDC Nature's Prophet, which is support Nature's Prophet, and they ran offlane Nature's Prophet here. Did not work at all. And then they sent Nyx Assassin to do a dual lane with him at first, and like I said, CIS tries to give the mid lane like a 1v1 situation, but in that matchup, I really feel that Nyx Assassin should have spent more time in the mid lane, because he started off top, TP'd away, Nature's Prophet died, and then it all just went downhill. You lost all 3 lanes. Yeah,
Nature's Prophet not having the same kind of impact as he normally does in games like these.
Nope. I think it was a good, quick TP top from Kunkka. Like, the second he saw that this top lane is going to be maybe a problematic lane, he's like, well, I've hopped out my bottom lane. I got the wave pull. That was his only purpose being bottom, was pull that one creep wave. That changes the lane. It gives Night Stalker that level 2 quickly, gives him some CS to play around with to get the fast soul ring that we saw. And he knew that the lane was kind of won for the Night Stalker. At least it was going to be playable, so he could then go win top. So I think Fade was basically made the good early game plays for VGJ that set them off.
Yeah, Yang's Night Stalker was actually, I think, I would say the MVP. I know we'll get that later, but he had an amazing game.
Solo killed the Lycan. That was like something you just don't expect. He did have a DD rune, it sounded like, so maybe a bit more reasonable, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was playing it like the Underlord that we were wondering that we weren't seeing. Just dominated the lane and then just become like a big damage sponge whenever it comes to mid-game team fights, which I don't think FlyToMoon ever did. Like, do we even have a 5-on-5 engagement that entire game?
No, I feel like they're kind of always on the back foot, and then it was VGJ like, oh, we got X's and we're going to push this tower, and FlyToMoon's like, oh, let's try and stall them or stop this tower going down, but we're not going to actually engage and take a fight. And you don't want to be playing from the back foot when you have a Lycan. That's like really bad news.
Miserable.
Yeah, and they had Iceberg on the Tiny. We mentioned before in the whole series, actually, that it is the Iceberg show.
Yeah.
Their lineup
Episode
should
2,
be the Iceberg show, but...
They added all these new side characters. There was this Nature's Prophet character arc that I don't really think the viewers liked too much, but...
I don't think Iceberg liked it too much.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, he needed a better supporting guys. He did fine mid. He was actually out CSing the Death Prophet.
He was.
The 1v1 I don't think was a big problem for him, but you can always kill a Death Prophet. That'd be great. If you had a rotation, toss under the tower. So
yeah, the whole ideal of the global presence never really came to fruition. Like, you had a Tiny, the AA Ice Blast, the Wrath of Nature from Nature's Prophet, and the Howl, but it never happened because FlyToMoon just never crossed their half of the map.
It was a rough game. It was a rough game for FlyToMoon. We're kicking it off with the replay where Kunkka has already made his way top, and basically from this point onward, it's downhill for FlyToMoon.
Yeah, Nongrata had a very poor game. No impact really coming out from him. A couple ultis that helped maybe get a kill or two for his team, but all in all, it was just a laning stage that went poorly for him, and it's much like the Lycan. It's not a hero you want to be playing comeback Dota with. And when the lanes fall apart and you're giving up these kills and towers, Nature's Prophet doesn't get to really have a game as well.
Yeah, this is the first... well, actually, never mind. I was going to say the first kill we see without Fade, but never mind. He's here anyway.
Yeah.
This is basically the Fade highlight reel.
He was exceptional. Like, it was kind of like a sleeper roamer, because initially it seemed like he picked up an Orb of Venom.
Look, he's here already again.
Yeah,
Coming up from the north.
He must have had like the most assists, but it was like an uncharacteristic starting out build for Kunkka. But like God said, he just needed to secure the Night Stalker's farm, and then really the map was his oyster. He could go wherever he wanted. And like this fight, like it seemed like right now Sylar was about to die, and then Fade was like, okay, well, I mean, I guess I can use my boat and completely turn everything around.
Yeah, I think Sylar still goes down, but the fight is already at least made much more VGJ favored because of his plays.
Right.
It felt like VGJ always weren't investing like too much to get kills. Like we saw numerous times in the early game where FlyToMoon would maybe get a kill or two. Like bottom lane, they commit like 3 or 4 heroes to kill a Night Stalker. Similar things elsewhere in that. Meanwhile, whenever that's happening, VGJ is like, well, they're 3 or 4 bottom. Let's take this mid tower while getting a kill on a core. They were just being a lot more efficient with their rotations.
I mean, even Freeze, you pop God Strength for 1 kill, and then he went up to go to the top lane to find Iceberg's Tiny. It was in the same God Strength that killed the mid lane.
Yeah, those always feel good, and definitely saw Sven be pretty effective here.
Yeah.
I think given how much they dominated the early game, I mean, obviously Sven's going to look good when you have a good start, because this is a hero that's meant to kind of farm a lot and often does end up playing from behind, but playing from ahead, well, Sven obviously does just fine.
Was it the Sven that did fine, or could have been any carry, you think?
I think it could have been any carry.
Yeah?
I agree.
Because like the way Non-Grotto was playing the Nature's Prophet, it wasn't a way that would threaten even a more vulnerable carry. Like Sven, you've got Warcry and you've got the Cleave to deal with all the trance, but it didn't even seem like that was necessary.
Could have been Sven, a Jug, a few other things I think could have worked. Just
Yeah.
all in the same capacity. It was much more about what the supports were doing and the Night Stalker having a great game. And Death Prophet. I actually think Death Prophet's the one here that I know the cast were talking about the end, like you ban something. Death Prophet's just such a stable. It's a hero that if you make a few misplays, you lose 2 towers, you lose Roche. I think Death Prophet punishes mistakes better than like almost any pick in the game right now, and that's where I think both these teams are pretty susceptible to making some small misplays. It's early in the tournament, they haven't maybe warmed up, and they're just not as polished as, you know, your VPs, your Liquids. So that's where I think that's a hero you may just want to ban out.
Yeah, it was the idea of what Lone Druid kind of used to be, where he's like, it's so difficult to kill the hero, and then if you manage to not kill the hero, then he'll just mow down a bunch of structures or take Roche.
Yeah, I mean, they had AA, and well, he's Sylar with 10 kills and took out down numerous towers. He's probably the most tower damage on this team. Maybe Sven's close, but it doesn't really feel like the AA countered the Death Prophet this game, at least.
A very comfort hero for VGJ.Thunder, as I mean, they just worked around that exorcism so well. Whenever exorcism was down, they weren't really too cocky, and when it was up, it's like, okay, we'll take the fight that's coming our way and take a tower while we're at it as well. Yeah,
it's very valuable to have teamfight ultimates that can kind of be insurance once exorcism is down. Like, they were being very conservative with static storm usage on VGJ.Thunder. They weren't using unless it was absolutely necessary. And then same thing with Night Stalker and his darkness. He wasn't using it, spamming it, trying to find kills or whatever. He was like, if a fight emerges, then we'll just blind the enemy team and go for it. And then obviously Ghost Ship is one of the most broken spells in the game, so.
Yeah.
Helped out a lot. Siege damage, I mean, that wasn't even needed. The GG was called before the tier 3 towers were down. It was a 23-minute game, so the fact that Sven is on top of this one is a little bit misleading there.
Yeah, I was saying before that Sven's going to need a really early BKB, because Sven BKB timings are very difficult to plan, because like if you get it one item too late, like usually you need some early farming item like Mask of Manus or Echo Saber, you need a Sange and Yasha after that, and then you usually get the Blink Dagger. But sometimes the Blink Dagger may come a little too early, and then you jump into fights and you don't have any spell immunity. But here he had Sylar picking up all the damage. He went the Hood build, which I'm a big fan of. Didn't go Blink, but he didn't need it, and Solar Crest on top of that.
So I've got some extra information here, because the MVP is chosen by a computer algorithm.
Really? Machine learning?
Yes.
So far they've liked the cores a lot. I mean, there's only 2 games in, and
there's only 2 games in. But was this MVP? Because I like being able to, you know, we can debate that.
I think it was him or Fade.
Him or Fade?
I would give it to Fade this game.
I think give it to Fade.
I think often, you know, we like to overpraise supports a bit, but this game I think it was Fade. Last game I think Silent or Iceberg was fine.
Yeah.
But this game, Fade was my MVP.
Because Lycan was constantly in the jungle. Like every single time I saw VGJ.Thunder invading, I was like, well, at least Lycan's probably pushing. But he wasn't. He was jungling half the time. And he was scared because you have to deal with X marks the spot and Glimpse and a Night Stalker who's hella farmed.
Yep.
We overrode the PC.
Yes.
Oh, did we?
We've defeated the
Nice.
AI for now.
Nice, nice, nice. Even though we did say Yang, but I'll take a Fade also.
We can do all of them.
Oh, you like
if
Yang? Oh,
want,
I like
but,
Fade. You like
Oh.
Yang. I was
Oh,
on
yeah.
Fade.
Oh, okay. No, I was going
But
with
the only
Yang.
reason they were
That's right.
able to play as aggressive was because of the comfort of the Death Prophet. I guess it was a team
It
effort.
was a team effort.
I mean, it is good if you look at it like that. If you compare Game 1 to Game 2, it was an entirely different VGJ.Thunder showing up.
for sure.
That's where we pull the drafter gets the MVP. Well, in this case, the drafter can he get the MVP?
Where's ROTK's picture? That's what I want. Where are his numbers?
That's the cop-out. When it's a team effort, you just give it, okay, well, Kuro, you're the MVP. You did the draft.
Yeah,
so.
that's the Liquid cop-out because everyone Liquid is always MVP, so you're like, give it to the drafter, I guess.
But it is a good thing for a team to just have all players play well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said for every single player to do well in that game. It just means well-rounded gameplay, not even necessarily draft, but just all on the same page, which wasn't the same story as for the first game, as we decided. But there will be a third game. It is 1-1 here for FlyToMoon and VGJ.Thunder. We'll go to a game 3 after this break.